how to tell Excel to create a histogram with a certain number of classes, not let it choose that on its own. I want to create a histogram with 5 classes. You can see here from the raw data, which is listed right here in column C, I've actually created by hand, just calculated the class width. The largest value is 100, the smallest value is 30. So I took the difference and divided it by the number of classes, which is 5. That came out to be 14. I need to always round up that number. Even if it's a whole number, you still round up to the next whole number, which is 15. I start with my lower class limit, my lowest value, my smallest value of 30. I will add 15 to get 45, add 15 again to get 60, and so on. You can see here are my 5 classes. My upper class limits will start at 1 minus the lower class limit of the second class. That's why this is 44, and then add 15 again to get 59, 74, 89, and 104. Now to get my class boundaries, I take my lower class limits and I subtract 0.5. My upper class boundaries are created by taking my upper class limits and adding 0.5. Remember, what am I doing? I'm widening those bars, those columns in my histogram so that they touch. Taking that difference of 1 here from the upper class limit of one class to the lower class limit of the next class, taking that 1, splitting it, pushing out the columns on both sides. So now the bars will touch. You can see they share a boundary as I'm clicking on these. The midpoints are calculated by taking either the class boundaries or the class limits for every class, adding them together, dividing by 2, just finding the middle. So now I'm ready to create my histogram. I'm going to choose Data Analysis again in the Data tab. Choose the histogram tool if it's not already highlighted. Click OK. And I'm going to, let me just go through this again. I'm going to create my histogram by telling Excel where the data is, where the raw data from the survey is. It's in column C. And then the bin range I'm going to use is the upper class boundaries right there. My output range will be, I'll just choose a rectangle here. It may not be exactly where I put it, but that's okay. And then make sure to choose Chart Output, click OK, and there it is. You notice that my histogram, I'm going to move it over here. There's nothing in the More category, which is what I expected. Let me clean it up a little bit. I'm going to delete this frequency label. I'm also going to delete the More category because, again, there's 0 values in it, by just highlighting it and going to delete. And I'm going to shift the cells up. Click OK. You can see it takes it out of my histogram graph. Finally, well, 2 things left. Right-click on any bar, go to Format Data Series. On the right side, you see here the gap width, originally set to 150%. I'm going to click and drag the slider bar to be 0. And now it's starting to look much more like a histogram. Finally, now a little misleading are these labels because these were the upper class boundaries. So for example, this 44.5, this goes right here. But maybe instead of having these values on my histogram, I want to have the midpoints. That would make a lot more sense. I'm going to right-click on the labels, and I'm going to click on Format Axis. Oh, wrong one. No. I am going to click on Select Data. Right here, horizontal category axis labels. I'm going to click on Edit and click on the little Spreadsheet button. And I'm going to instead choose the midpoints here. Click on that button again, and now click OK. and OK. This makes more sense. In the middle of each bar is the midpoint, and that looks good. I can also, once again, like before, change my horizontal and vertical axis labels to make more sense. Optimism scale, 0 to 100. And then, like before, I can make this title, this chart title, say Optimism Histogram. That looks pretty good. Now, one thing also, you can cut and paste this histogram onto any Word document, which might make sense to cut and paste both the frequency table if you wanted to even calculate the frequencies or put them in here, reformat this so that it could be just cut and pasted onto a page of Word, Microsoft Word, and then that would fit right into your project. Please email me if you have any questions. I hope this helps.